Yet, when we talk, they say Akuse doesn't generate any income for the assembly. Therefore, whatever we need, they don't care. So these are the questions I'm asking. That time myself, I was on air, okay, to announce to the whole town that we are stopping VRA. When the how do you call it, Honorable Ibrahim called me, he's the zonal council chairman, that I should rush to his house now because he got the information that the VRA people who abandoned our route are now using their trucks to convey materials through the route through America to the site there. And so we were there, and we made it known to the driver that you should go and never return. Immediately, they organized their management, and then they called us into a meeting. That meeting, we raised a lot of issues. And then they told us that the road they promised us wasn't even what we are seeing. And so I also answered that if you said you have promised us a route, and this is not what you have promised to give us, why is it that what you have done, you couldn't extend it to the town? We needed to see something like that on the ground, at least.
I promise you that I will be speaking to the electoral members here, those who have been voted as assembly members for Akuse electoral area. Today precisely, I am in Salum to speak to the electoral member elected to represent the people of Salum here in Akuse, to speak to him about his stand on the condition of the toilet facilities in this electoral area, Akuse to be precise, exactly where he's representing. I want to know his takes on the processes or what he has done so far about the toilet facility in his enclave. So welcome to Storm City.
Most grateful.
Okay, so we have a program called Community Eye, and the last time we were on the show, we came to your enclave to know exactly the condition of the toilet facility in your area is. We realized that it was not in good condition. We want to know, you being the assembly member, we want to know what is your take on it? What have you done so far to make sure that this is fixed?
Well, thank you for the opportunity and the privilege. I humbly welcome you to Salum electoral area, which I'm the man the people in this community has voted for me to lead them into the council. Well, back to the issue about toilet facilities. Yeah, toilet facilities are major facilities that every community or town and cities depend on largely for their conveniences.
Okay.
And recently I've been saying something that if somebody is having a wedding or you are having an engagement and you are presented with a gift, which is a toilet roll, it's a big gift because it's one of the things that we cannot live without.
Yeah.
We give all manner of gifts, but the very things that we cannot live without, we see them as nothing.
Yeah.
And so, don't we all defecate? We all defecate. But the major issue is, where do we go to the input we make, the food we take in? Where do we get those materials out of our body? Where do we dispose them? These are major issues of concern to every leader and every human being, regardless of where you are coming from.
Okay.
So toilet facilities, as we speak, Akuse, there is a big challenge, very, 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 very big challenge. And so way before we came into the assembly, we realized that there were old toilet facilities, that some are still under operation, others are broken down. And then we realized that there were places that were earmarked for such facilities to be raised. And we started, we could all see some projects has been started on some of these facilities. Others were, at least I can say, 80 to 90% completion. Others were still left at the footing level, especially here in Salum.
Okay.
And coming into the system, we try to ask certain questions. And then my area, for instance, there is no facility of that nature. No public toilet facility for the people within the Salome electoral area to access. And so because of that, there is a lot of open defecation. And let me put it on record that after I was elected, Mr. Ofue, the one who operates the drugstore, engaged me on 2 different occasions. And I, being a prison officer for that matter, I went into our prison establishment to take prisoners on 2 different occasions to clear a certain area where you realize that the place is littered all over with human excreta. They come there, they do their thing in the night, dump them there. And so this man has to call on me. I didn't organize any communal labor. I took it upon myself to organize inmates, prisoners from Akuse prison to clear the area on 2 different occasions. And this work, you can check from him. And so we decided that no, within that area, there is an old toilet facility, which I understand belongs to the community, the Salon community. And so we're raising questions. I think the other side where the project started, which is left at the footing level, I tried to make some inquiries from those who matters most, who knew much about the issue. And then what I was told was that it was due to land litigation. The people that the land belongs to, that is what I know. I was told the people that the land belongs to were not contacted appropriately for them to release the land for them to start the project. That was the reason why the project has stalled to the level at which it is now. And so it was an issue that I was thinking that we will push at the assembly. But, you know, when we started, I think the previous years, prior to the election, there were some issues at the assembly regarding the election of a presiding member. And so we couldn't come to an agreement to elect presiding member. And so without a presiding member, whatever we do at the assembly is illegal. According to the standing orders, it's illegal. So we tried to form subcommittees. And one of the major subcommittees I served on personally was social services. And social services has to do with the environment. So we have the municipal health director who comes there to brief us. We have the municipal education director who also is on this committee. We have the environmental health director who is also on this committee. So a lot of issues were raised when it comes to sanitation in the environment, and open defecation and other things has to do with sanitation. Okay, so some of these issues were brought up, but because the committees were constituted without a sitting presiding member, they were all regarded to be what? Illegal. So we couldn't do much then. And so God willing, or as God may have it, this time around, the assembly is set, fully set.
Okay.
Now we have a new MC, we have a presiding member, and so very soon, I think I can put on record now that come Tuesday, we are going back to the assembly for all these subcommittees to be constituted. Then full work begins. Then that is where we'll begin to push more for some of these things. But I believe that previously, it is a lack of commitment on the part of the municipal chief executive then to, as it were, push for such facilities to be brought up for the use of the community. And one of the issues I've been hearing, and the question I also ask that I'm still demanding an answer is that some of this, they are saying that, I'm saying that, well, so does it mean that all these facilities are supposed to be constructed or given to the community from the IGF, that is internally generated funds, not from the common fund? The common fund is given from the government. And so some of these things needed to be taken care of by the common fund. Yet, when we talk, they say Akuse doesn't generate any income for the assembly. Therefore, whatever we need, the they don't care. So these are the questions I'm asking. That does it mean that before Akuse will get any project done or any help, it should be coming from the common fund. It should be coming from the IGF, not the common fund. I need somebody to answer some of these questions.
You need somebody to answer these questions. Yeah. I know that we have in the enclave of Akuse here, we have companies here.
Yeah.
As an assembly member, have you taken it upon yourself that since the MCE and the government are not doing anything, have you taken it upon yourself that Salome lack public toilet facility? So you write to these companies to perform their social corporate responsibility by building such project for these people.
Absolutely, we are I think 1 year into office.
Okay.
And if I may confirm or confess, we have made it like just it wasn't official. We didn't make any official appeal or complaints to such companies you talked about. But I can say that I've ever spoken to, especially the commercial bank, which is also in my electoral area. Yeah. I told the manager that I'll be coming to see him on an issue which has to do with that, actually, but I didn't mention it to him. Okay. And the last time I had an engagement with Maleka manager, Mr. Roger, I also made mention of such things that we may be coming to knock on their door for such assistance. And so when we come, they should be able to help us. Since their workers live within the community, so we'll be coming for them.
So you said in a communique that the people of Salome do not have any toilet facility. Yeah. So it means the closest one to you is what? Osokutu. So you share the public toilet at Osokutu with them. We understand that people pay for before they use that facility. Yeah. What do they use that fund for? Well, and where does it go to? Let me be precise. Where does the money go to? And who is responsible to account to the people that this amount we have generated from here? Because you said the MCE says that there are no funds coming from Akuse. So
this money is from the MCE, but that is the general thing people are talked about.
Okay, but it is not something that has been discussed at the council.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so that was your perception.
So it's not that we wanted to push this thing on the floor.
Okay.
So that we get proper answers to.
Okay, so I want you to answer me these questions that I want to know. Those monies that have been taken from the people who use these facilities, what do they use the money for and who does it go to? Yeah.
Well, as we speak, I can confidently tell you that I wouldn't be able to give you or tell you how the place is run.
Okay.
The only toilet facility that saves almost the entire community in Akuse, the entire community. I believe that is the only toilet facility that is properly running, and it's been there in operation way before we even came into office. Okay. And so I wouldn't be able to speak much about it. Maybe the previous administration and maybe the current assembly member whose jurisdiction that facility is situated, he will be in the position to, as it were, speak to how the funds are being used. But if I would be able to say anything, I believe that the funds may be, well, anything that needed to be done, maybe light, maybe if there is any painting or whatever, maybe some of those things. But in the bigger picture, he will be in the best position to speak to how the place is run. Okay, so proceed
with regards to what you just said.
Yeah.
I remember, I can believe that there was a handing over, right?
Yeah.
There was a handing over. Do you have document of your predecessor, what he has done for the people of Salome? Projects he has started that he has not completed, and has he shown you the way to where to go to get this project faced? One of the things I've observed in Akuse, your electoral area, Salome to be precise, is that the inner roads, even in the Salome area, is waterlogged. When it rains, people cannot use the road.
Exactly.
your toilet facility, you don't have any. You have to use some with someone.
Yeah.
Does it have documents backing it that Salome has a public toilet that is supposed to be completed, or he does not have, or there is nothing like that in handing over? It was just a mutual something that you are no more assembly member, you are a new assembly member, that ends it.
In actual fact, prior to the election, when I was going around during my campaign, I happened to visit my predecessor, the former assemblyman of Salome, Honorable Felix Kwe.
Okay.
Just to get some advice from him, since he's been there. And I was also seeking to come into that position when he declared that he wasn't going. And so one of the things that took me to him was to go and to find out from him whether he was still ready, he was still interested in the position before I proceed. Otherwise, I would also tell him that this is my interest. I was also vying to contest. And so when I got there, he told me he wasn't going anymore. And so we took time, we spoke at length, and he engaged me as to what it takes to be an assembly member, the elections, the way I will go about the campaign and other things. Those were some of the things he shared with me as a senior person or an experienced person at the assembly. But as to issues concerning any facility, as we speak, we had no deliberations on that. And then, to put on record, he left the jurisdiction before the elections were done. And so there was no official handing over or taking over between myself and him.
Okay, there was no official ceremony of any handing over. My last question concern for us to go is the issue with VRA. You, the people of Akuse, the assembly members, you know very well that VRA ends at the junction. Where they reside is in that area, but they use the town. They come to the market, they come to the hospital, they come to the bank. So why have you people kept quiet on their construction of the road? They ended it at where their office and where they reside ends. What has been your actions when that was done?
We have not kept quiet over this matter.
Okay.
We have not kept quiet over this matter. You know, there are certain times when you are doing things, you must not talk too much.
Okay.
You understand? You must not talk too much. When you talk too much, then that is where people will also try to strategize against you or for. Maybe somebody is also looking for that publicity or recognition. Okay. And so the person may go behind you and do some other things. We have not kept quiet. We have engaged VRA in a number of meetings concerning this road issue.
Okay.
The last time myself, I was on air, okay, to announce to the whole town that we are stopping VRA when the, Honorable Ibrahim called me. He's the zonal council chairman, that I should rush to his house now because he got the information that the VRA people who abandoned our route are now using their trucks to convey materials through the road, through America, to the site there. And so we were there. And we made it known to the driver that you should go and never return. Immediately, they organized their management, and then they called us into a meeting. That meeting, we raised a lot of issues. And then they told us that the road they promised us wasn't even what we are seeing. And so I also answered that if you said you have promised us a route, and this is not what you have promised to give us, why is it that what you have done, you couldn't extend it to the town? We needed to see something like that on the ground. At least that will also allay our fears that whatever you have promised, if it is an asphalt or whatever, we'll be praying that it happens. Because these days, when there is a funeral, that is where you see people developing their houses and homes. And so I put it to them that since we are here, and they said, oh, there is a project that is going to be undertaken on the dam. And so they want to fortify the road and raise the standard of the road to a certain level that the materials can ply on. It's a good news that we've all welcomed in Akuse, that goodness will also fall on us to see the change in the road network within the Akuse township, or even within the community. But here we are. They couldn't do that. And so they pleaded with us. We were there, all the assembly members, with some opinion leaders, and even to put on record the Nantuku chief, the Zongo chief was there, and other stakeholders in town. And then they pleaded with us that they were going back to consult with their management, that we should give them 1 month. And so I believe that by close of this month, that 1 month grace period might have elapsed.
Okay.
And so we will engage them again. I think the last time the zonal council chairman called me that we need to sit down and talk, because we need to revisit this issue, and then remind them that the grace period that they requested from us, or they said we should give them, is expired. So what next? Then you hear from us again.
What next is the question. This is Honorable Kbeli, who represent the people of Salome. Thank you for coming. This is the Community Eye Show on Storm City GA TV. We leave no stone unturned. We are to make Ghana great again, Akuse great again. And I am your host, Frank Edemasari. Thank you.